Obviously, I'm a Yankees fan, so I'd love to see him.
It's almost like legacy of like the NFL versus.
But I definitely think that Baker could be a really good player for the Panthers moving forward.
Did I say Oreos?
There's a lot of questions I have about Mahomes. Looks like a kid playing Madden.
Turning point in the game is the 13-second drive.
They play very hard, even though they're terrible.
He's a good pick. For sure. He's going to be a good player. But I can't argue against the Jamar Chase pick.
They made moves saying we're going to win this year, at least get into the playoffs.
I'm going with my guy, Corey Seager. So glad.
What's good, y'all? My name is Austin Jarman, and I play rugby for the University of Notre Dame. And you're listening to The Outsider's Opinion with Austin and Kevin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NBA opinions of the week. I'm Kevin. I'm joined by the man that, I'm sure I do not see a Wizards player on this. And, I feel like Kyrie Irving was deserving, but we'll take notes. I'm just going to say I'm taking notes. We'll remember this. Austin.
Yeah, there's been some guys that definitely people are angry about not making it. I think the biggest snub out of anyone. Well, first, is there anyone you think should not have made it, no matter what, that ended up making it?
Oh, it's tough because these are all good players, but I am surprised Cade Cunningham made it. Not saying he's not deserving, but I am surprised because it is also like a popularity contest between all-star rosters.
Sure.
You have 3 Cavalier players, and of course they are the best team, but it is usually the best team there is. There are multiple.
I think all the guys who made it for them deserved it. I mean, Mobley is one of the best defensive guys in the league right now, and he's averaging 18, 9, and 3. And when you are so good defensively, I think he deserved it. I think Siakam. I mean, I love Siakam. He's one of my favorite players in the league, and he's shooting incredibly efficiently across the board. But he's only averaging 20.5, 7.3, and 3.5. I mean, that's a little bit weak. And then with Jalen Williams on the west side, J-Dub, as he's known on his own team, averaging 21, 6, and 5. He's solid, and I think the reason why he made it was because he was on OKC. But I think I'll go first on the most snubbed player. I think the most snubbed player here is Norman Powell. Norman Powell is averaging 24 points per game on the 6th-seeded Clippers, and he's shooting 49.4% from the field, 43.5% from 3, 84.6% from the free throw line. I know he's only averaging 3.6 rebounds and 2.2 assists, but he's averaging 1.4 steals, which is a solid amount. It's only 0.4 less than Jalen Williams. And he's also the primary go-to guy scoring-wise on a playoff team. A team that's not even in the play-in. They're above the play-in. So I think he really deserved it. Another player that I think really deserved it is Domantas Sabonis. Sabonis is leading the NBA in rebounds. He's averaging 21, 14.5, and 6.6. And he did not end up making the NBA All-Star game. And he's shooting 48.1% from 3, now only on 2.4 attempts per game, admittedly. But I am just shocked that those 2 players really didn't make it. If you would ask me who would they go over, I think Jaren Jackson Jr. and Jalen Williams would be the 2 that I would take him over. If you really want the Grizzlies to have a All-Star, then I'm fine with that. And you kind of need the Rockets to also have an All-Star because of how good those teams are. But I definitely think there are some weaker additions to the squad. Your thoughts?
Yeah, those are all good picks. And yeah, Norman Powell's been really good. And as you talked about him, I would say I was surprised Kyrie did not get it. And I do think he's deserving. But I understand from the Mavs perspective, as from the Mavs, even though they are doing well and they're 25, because there's a stat, they are 25 or more wins and they have 0 All-Stars. But Kyrie has missed some time, so I understand that. But I was surprised because he's been it multiple times. He didn't make it. But you bring up a good point with Norman Powell because, yeah, that Clippers team is very good. And they did get Harden, but yeah, Norman Powell is really filled in, which is surprising to me because he was kind of just viewed as like an extra roster, but he has played well, incredibly well. And then I do understand getting rid of J-Dub because he is a really great defender, but I just don't think he's there yet in a top all-star player. I think he could get an all-star in the future.
Well, I mean,
but
you talked about the Mavericks being the only team with 25 wins. I think the Kings are very comparable. I mean, they have 24 wins, and they're also in a play-in spot at the 10 seed. And Sabonis, I think, is playing better than Kyrie this year. But it is really tough. I mean, there's a lot of teams above 500 that have basically no people that are all-stars this year. I mean, the Suns got no one in besides KD, but you would think that Booker would get in or something like that.
Surprising, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and like these are all up and coming players. Like I would say, Sengun is a rising player. Same thing with J-Dub, and you got that with Tyler Hero, Cade Cunningham as well, rising guys. But there are also guys that are just consistently doing well, and like Sabonis and Booker and Irving. Then you have a guy that's playing well but doesn't really have that star factor. That I would say Tyler Hero and Cade Cunningham have with Norman Powell because he's just kind of been a guy, but kind of like when Julius Randle made the All-Star game for the first time, he was just kind of viewed as a guy, and then he had a great season. So I think you could make that comparison with Norman Powell.
Yeah, Norman Powell deserves it. I'm kind of mad because Norm's 31. And while I like giving it to the young guys, you just don't know if Norm's ever going to have a season like this again. And he deserves it. Yeah, 100%. It's not a pity all-star game. I mean, he's legitimately shooting some of the best splits I've ever seen from a guy averaging 24 points per game. He's having Curry-type efficiency. I mean, 49.4% from the field, 43.5% from three on 7.9 threes per game. Threes attempted per game. So I kind of understand it, but at the same time, I would really have Norman. I think he deserves it more than some of the guys above him.
Yeah, and like I said, I am mad. I would say mad about Kyrie because I just thought it would be a given the Mavericks would have someone. Stinks that Luke is out. Can't do it because of injury. But like I said, I'm gonna remember this, and we'll be noticing that. We're gonna keep the receipts. But yeah, so like we talked about the All-Star starters, they got it pretty much right. This one there was more discussion, and they messed up, and with some spots, as you and I talked about it. I'll let you close this one out.
Yeah, thank you guys for listening. What is your biggest All-Star snub and the guy that you'd replace? Thank you guys for listening.